We're live.
Welcome everyone back to episode 32 of Kids Deserve It. Hope you've been enjoying our weekly chats with educators and game changers from around the country. Is it echoing? No. Don't forget, you can check us out on iTunes also. A lot of people listen. You can download it and listen on your way to work.
And if you haven't heard the news, our book, Kids Deserve It, is out on Amazon. It's been out for a little over a month now, has been doing exceptionally well. I just want to remind all of our viewers that if you buy the book on Amazon, while you are waiting for it to come in, you can get the Kindle version for $2.99 after purchasing the paperback version. So thank you, everybody, for your support with that. We have been so excited seeing all of the great conversations going on.
That's right. This week we got another great guest, but first want to introduce ourselves. I'm Adam Welcome, Director of Innovation and Technology in the Bay Area of California.
I'm Todd Nesloni, Elementary School Principal in Navasota, Texas. And our guest this week is, Brent, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, man, my name is Brent Clarkson. I'm a 7th and 8th grade science teacher in Houston, Texas.
Nice. We want to remind all of our viewers to participate in social media while the show's going on, and if you're watching the recording or listening to the audio recording, we want to encourage you to tweet out things that you are loving using the hashtag KidsDeserveIt.
So Brent, we got a few questions for you. So for those that don't know who you are, Brent, tell us about yourself.
Again, like I said, I'm a 7th and 8th grade science teacher in Houston, Texas. A little about me. Some things are important to me. First and foremost, my faith in Christ. My wife, I'm a husband, and so I'm a dad also. I got 2 little boys, and we've been married. My wife, I've been married for about 7 years. I'm an Auburn graduate, so War Eagle. Any Auburn people that ever see this?
My uncle's an Auburn graduate. Yeah.
There we go.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. I got a master's in ed admin, so a little shameless plug. If you are looking for an AP position or an AP, I'm right here. I'm your guy. So there we go.
Awesome.
So, Brent, as a teacher, I know one of the biggest things for you that you've implemented with your junior high science classrooms is the flipped classroom. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and kind of your reasoning behind jumping into the flipped classroom?
Yeah, absolutely. Reasoning, there's a lot. Man, there's so much that I could share about it. Guess I'll try and keep it brief. The biggest thing is flipping frees me up in my classroom to be alongside my students, to work alongside my students more, to get elbow to elbow with them at their desks, and really understand where they need help. For me, something that I like about it is it reduces the homework level for my students, because pretty much what they have for homework in my class is nothing more than, hey, watch this short video over the content. It's 7 to 10 minutes long. Take notes, come back to class. We may discuss it some. And the great thing about it, too, is that the videos provide resources for students to refer back to. I've experienced in my career, obviously, a lot of ESL students here in Texas. I've experienced a lot of just different students and different levels of learning, and it's really, really good for those students who need that extra resource to go back to. Or while they're watching the video, they can obviously press pause and rewind, or whatever they need to do to get the content that they need and hear it as many times as they want to. The biggest piece, honestly, for me, is that it takes me off of the stage. I'm no longer standing in front of my students vomiting words on them for 45 minutes. And they're taking that basic knowledge they get from the video that they received outside of class, able to apply it for just a deeper level of understanding in the class where I'm there with them working alongside them. So I'm a big believer in the flipped class. I think it's awesome.
Nice, nice. You know, Brent, you're someone who we know really values relationships, something we preach and talk about all the time on KDI. So tell us some ways that you build relationships with your kids.
Well, I guess I could piggyback off that last question too. The flipped class really lends itself well to being able to build those relationships, simply because I'm not on that stage anymore. I'm in the class with them at their desks. I'm in the trenches with my students more often than I would be if I spent my time lecturing. More than that, I place a lot of value just kind of personally on making sure that I greet my students at the door. I'm out in the hallways high-fiving kids between classes. I like to go and sit and have lunch, even if it's just for 5 minutes of my day. I go in the cafeteria and have lunch with those kids. I talk to my students about me. I don't just think it's important for me to know my student. I think it's really important for them to know me. And I think a lot of the times we can tend to kind of close up our lives a little bit to our students and be a little private. I think it's really good for our students to get to know us. I think
Well, I
that's
think one cool thing too, Brent, and you wrote a blog post about this recently too, is just how much those relationships even go beyond the year that you're currently in, or how sometimes even building those relationships with kids and allowing them into kind of like even your family relationships. And you talk about, I saw you recently on social media talked about how, one of the kids that you really connected with at school also is really connected with one of your sons, and just being able to go out and do things with the students like play paintball or go to the arcade, things like that. I think those make a really big difference, especially in junior high kids' lives when they don't always have the best role models or the best experiences going on.
I did. I had an opportunity recently to, just as a reward for a fundraiser that our campus did, several of my students got a prize basically where they got to go paintballing. And so it wasn't really where they got to go paintballing. They got to shoot me with a paintball gun. So it turned into going paintballing because that was just the easiest way to do it. But yeah, I mean, it's huge to be able to have those types of relationships. I live in the community where the school is that I work. I think that's important for me. Our church is right around the corner from the school. So it's not only, like I said, it's not important for us just to know them. It's also really important for them to know us. Because I feel like when they know us, they feel like they're more well known,
Right,
and they're not just a number or a test score anymore.
right. So, Brent, what was school like for you growing up?
Man, I liked school as a kid. It doesn't mean that I was the best student or that I did the best in school. I wasn't necessarily a model student. But it was a struggle for me to stay focused in school, and so I had a hard time really looking back. I had a hard time maintaining that focus, and so that looking back for me has developed. I've been able to develop a lot of empathy for those kids that struggle with that, because we know that we put kids in this almost like a box. We expect them to come and sit at their desks, and these kids that need to wiggle and move and talk and chat, we want them to come sit in their desk and be quiet and learn, and that just does not work really sometimes, because it's not a one size fits all, unfortunately. So that's a little bit of my history at school. I actually graduated from school in London, England, and then came back here to the United States to go to Auburn, and so that's my maturity has changed a lot since I was in high school, and even since I was in college. We won't get into the details, but my college GPA was far behind what my master's GPA was.
You got through though. All right.
I did. I got that piece of paper.
You said something about like kids being quiet and sitting still. I mean, can adults be quiet and sit still, but we expect our kids to? Right? It doesn't make sense.
I can't. Yes, Todd.
It doesn't make sense. So, Brent, if you had one wish in education, what do you wish would happen more? Just what's your one wish?
Man, I wish we could find ways to better reach all of our students. I think the current system has a lot of flaws, and I just wish that we could find better ways to reach those students, to get people, to get the people in the place they need to be. I mean, I'll just say it, to get people in legislature that are aware of what is going on in public education and what the needs of students are, and have the boldness to be able to make the suggestions and the changes that just need to be made for kids.
I think that's great. Brent, when you're having one of those days where you just don't even feel like getting out of bed, what kind of things do you do to kind of kick your butt into gear to attack the day?
A lot of that for me is just refocusing on why I do what I do, because we all know that we don't teach for money. That is a well-known fact. I don't teach for my enjoyment, although I really do love what I do. I love my job. I teach honestly because God wired me to be an influencer, and I have an opportunity to do that on a daily basis with the kids that I come in contact with on my campus. And so when I can sit and just refocus on that aspect of why I do what I do, it just pushes me to kind of almost put on my big boy underwear and go to work, man. I just do what I got to do.
So, Brent, but you're also what we like to call a connected educator. So can you tell us a little bit about what that means to you and kind of your journey into being connected?
Man, honestly, the connected piece saved my career. And Todd, you know the story, just the whole idea of I left education for a year. I taught for 4 years at the same level, junior high, and I left education for a year and grieved for the majority of the time that I was out, because I knew that I was wired to be there, but I was not connected for those first 4 years that I was teaching. and I felt very alone. Even though yes, I had people on my campus that I was working alongside that I knew and that we were, getting ideas here and there from, but I did not have that connected piece with people that are outside of my campus. And so to be able to come back to education in 2013, I think it was, and within 2 months of being back in the classroom, I stumbled across this guy named Todd Nesloney roll your eyes, at a conference, and this idea of becoming connected was new to me. And so honestly, I was using Twitter, but I went in and deleted my personal Twitter account and started a brand new one. It just it snowballed from there. The people that I've been able to get to know, the people I've been able to connect with, the lead up chat crew, man, just an incredible group of people to be able to not only connect with them over Twitter, but to go to a conference called What Great Educators Do Differently, which happened to be right up the street from my house here in Katy, and for the first time face-to-face meet 20 to 25 of those people from that crew. It was phenomenal. I mean, it sounds silly to go, yeah, I met these people on social media and then we hung out. I was like, it's not creepy, I promise. It was really awesome.
I can vouch for it.
I mean, that's exactly. It's funny you say it's not creepy because we tell this often, and I think it's in the book too. That's how Adam and I met. Adam and I had just interacted a couple times on social media, and then we met face to face at a conference, and we're like, hey, we kind of do get along and like each other. And so then we ended up writing a book together. So
there you go. There you go. So Brent, you talk about lead up crew and Todd and other people and being connected. But who's someone that inspires and challenges you to be better?
I guess this is going to probably sound a little cliche. There's a lot of people out there that inspire me, but the people that really push me to be better, I would honestly have to say, are my students, because we never know. I never know. Sometimes I don't say I never know. Sometimes we don't know what those kids deal with when they go home. We don't know what home life is like. We don't know what they have to do when they get out of school, and what it's like. What were they facing before they got to school that morning? Was it chaos when y'all talk about it in your book? Was it chaos? Was their last 10 minutes at home chaotic before they came to school? And sometimes we just don't know that stuff. And so if I can push myself to be the best I can be on a consistent basis for my students, that's where I find my motivation to just be the best I can be and to continue to grow myself and push myself. And so really my motivators, my challengers are my kids and my classes.
I love that. So every week we like our guests to leave a challenge for our viewers. So what is your challenge for this week, Brent?
Man, challenge would be my passion with the flipped class. Challenge would be for teachers any educator out there really to go through your lessons that you've got for the year and pick that hardest lesson, the most challenging lesson, the most difficult one, the one that your students may struggle with the most. Pick that lesson and record a 5 or 6 minute long instructional video for that lesson and post it somewhere. Get it in their hands where they can access it outside of class. It's just to give them another resource where they can get a little closer to the mastery of that concept. And begin that. I mean, I'll make the challenge even bigger. Begin that process to consider flipping your class. Do your research. There's a lot of great resources out there for flipping the class. It's awesome.
Nice. I like it. Well, Brent, everyone watching, thanks so much for being on the show. Remember to tweet us using @KidsDeserveIt or #KidsDeserveIt. And next week, our guest is a 2-time Olympian in the sport of alpine skiing from Canada, Brad Spence. Brent, thanks so much for being on the show. Great to have you.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Have a great week ahead. I'm going to look through my contacts, see if I know any principals in Houston that are looking for a vice principal.
Come on.
All right. Let's make this happen. We get all these donor choose grants funded, but we got to get Brent a vice principal job. Come on, Todd.
There we go. Let's make it happen.